see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain.
Hey friends, we are not quite starting this moment. We're going to give everyone just a few more minutes to kind of trickle in. The stuff we talk about in the beginning is sort of important for everyone to hear. So a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Also, a couple people mentioned things about the lights and the wash of the lights. It's going to look a little bit different when we get started, so don't worry about the lights, and we'll start in a few minutes. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again.
So when Galen mentioned a few moments ago the really important thing you were going to have to hear at the beginning, it was obviously me, right? Yeah. No, this is like the least important part. I'm here to welcome him. But I do want to say thank you to everyone for being here, both in person and virtually. We're starting off today with I'm just going to sell it, fabulous series of opportunities for our EOU employees to learn to grow personally, professionally, but also, I hope, have a little fun, as I've been sharing here and there. Coming up this year, we have 21-day challenges, common book reads, Friday afternoon meetups with discussions and topical presentations, and more. The way we interact with each other is obviously terribly important. It has an impact on ourselves, our colleagues, our ability to work through the inevitable challenges that we come across. And it's also going to help us collaborate because we'll know each other. It'll provide an excellent experience for our students, but also, of course, for ourselves. Today's speaker is here to share about a yes and culture and the value of creating cohesive, intentional, positive culture that brings out the best in each of us. The truth is, collaboration matters. When we're all thinking about the same problem, we're all going to come up with a better solution together. So I'm pleased to welcome Galen Emaunele, who works with teams around the globe, including Microsoft, Safeway, NASA, and others, to help change the way we perform and impact each other at work. Along with his business background, Galen is, of course, a world-class improviser, which is where the title of this talk comes from. He's performed and taught improv for many years and toured with the cast from Whose Line Is It Anyway? As I've tried to emphasize in all of my listening sessions and all of the talks that I've done, I really would love to see some joy on campus this year. I really would like to see a spirit of positivity. But sometimes that comes with hard work too. I'm hopeful today that we can have a little fun, have a little joy, have a little play, and I hope this starts us off for a great year. So please help me welcome Galen Emaunele.
Excellent. All right. Hello, friends. I am very excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this for some time. And you poor people have no idea what you're in for. But we are going to have some fun. So I basically have a little over an hour today with you to hopefully challenge the way that you think about how you show up as a human being, as part of a team, as a leader, the way that you impact and influence other people around you in your life as you move through this world. And I know that that is a very tall order for an hour plus of time, but all that is required of you in this time that we have together is to just participate, be present, pay attention, and just do what we're doing. I promise you, there's going to be different things in this that we're going to talk about that different ones of you will have to take away, and we are going to cover a lot of ground in the time that we have together. So, yeah, good, that's it. Basically, just come along with this journey. Because the other thing that's going to happen is that we're going to start today by talking about something that is way out in left field that has absolutely nothing to do with you, and then I'm going to connect a lot of the dots and sort of just trust me, come along with me on this journey that I will land the plane. We will get to where we're going to go, but we're going to take the scenic route to get there, and that will sort of not be immediately, it won't necessarily make sense right in the beginning, but I promise you we're going to connect all the dots. So, cool. And essentially, if what I think is going to happen in this room happens, you all owe me ice cream. So here we go. And what I'm going to be doing, kind of where we start to talk about is that along with this work that I do with teams, yes, I've done improv for a very long time. So is everybody here familiar with improv? People have seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? You know what improv is? Okay, great. That's most all of you. If you don't know what improv is, you will by the end of this. But that is where we're going to start. That is going to be kind of our launching point here for what we're going to be talking about, is talking about improv, what improv is all about, how the sausage is made, and then sort of going from there to sort of connect the dots for what we're doing here. So that's it. We're going to go. Also, I know that there's a number of people that are live streaming in remotely, so hello for those people that are doing that. Good. Okay. Here we go. Improv. Everything in improv that exists is centered around this core concept idea of yes and. Yes and is the meat and potatoes of all things improv. And so what we say as improvisers is that everything that you do and everything that your partner does is considered an offer. And your job as an improviser is to say yes to your partner's offer and then add more information onto it. That is that yes and idea kind of in a nutshell. So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like in a sort of performance improv style setting, just for the context of what does that look like in practice in real time. So if there are two improvisers on stage and one of them says to the other one, "Hey doc, I'm here for my 2 o'clock appointment," the other improviser would respond with something along the lines of, "Oh great, come on in, have a seat, your brain's over here in the fridge, let's get started with the transplant." Right? Essentially, that second improviser, if that's me, I'm saying yes to the offer that's been made, right? The reality that's been created. So I'm saying yes and agreeing to the fact that I am a doctor, that I know this person, that we have an appointment together, that we're in some sort of medical facility, right? I'm immediately saying yes and agreeing to those things and then adding more information onto it. It's a brain transplant, put this helmet on, flip the switch, let's go. So the opposite of that in improv is what we call a block. And there is only one rule that exists in all of improv, and that is that you are not allowed to block an offer that somebody else makes. So, same scenario, two improvisers on stage. One of them says to the other one, "Hey doc, I'm here for my 2 o'clock appointment." If the other improviser were to respond with something along the lines of, "What are you talking about? I'm not a doctor, I'm just standing here waiting for this bus at this bus stop," that would be a block. right? Essentially, to say no or reject or deny or destroy the offer, the reality that's been created by that first person. So when you see improv on stage, it looks like magic. And people always ask us improvisers, like, how do you come up with those things so quickly? Is everything that you do really made up on the spot, in the moment, off the top of your head? Or do you guys like pre-plan ahead of time what you're gonna do and what you're gonna say? And the reality is that yes, everything that we do is made up on the spot in the moment. We just have a very simple set of rules and strategy that we use that allow us to be successful in any situation, including literally where we have absolutely no idea from moment to moment what is gonna happen next, what's gonna come our way, right? And like where things are going. And at its core, at the heart of that is that we always say yes. We always take whatever's given to us in the moment. We say yes, we agree to it, we build on it, right? We move forward, we create and we build. We never say no, we never start from scratch. We never destroy anything that is actively like being built, right? And like moving forward. So that is the context of like what Yes And is all about. That's sort of how the sausage is made. That's how improv works. A very relevant question is, what does that have to do with any of you? Which is a great question. So let's talk about that. In the work that I do, in the context of kind of what we're talking about here in our time together, is that surrounding that yes and kind of core concept idea in improv, there are basically 5 main skills that if you wanted to become a brilliant improviser, you would have to master. And what we're talking about here in context is this idea of taking this yes and concept and philosophy and sort of like embracing that to create a yes and culture, right? Both inside a team and organization, also for yourself to like adopt some of those skills to be a more effective leader, etc. All right, just as a human being. So those 5 skills in improv are the same 5 tenets of a yes and culture. So they are the context of what we're gonna be talking about here today and like what the focus of what we're doing here is. So those 5 improv skills, those 5 tenets are as follows. Number 1, to say yes, which is pretty self-explanatory. We're just in the mode of saying yes to things that come our way. Also, side note, it is not about literally saying yes to every single thing in the world. That is not possible. Right? Saying yes is also just a mindset and a mentality of being open and receptive to other people's ideas and looking for ways to say yes when we can. Number 2 is to listen and be present, which is a huge part of improv. It's about tuning in and being present with what is right in front of you right now in this exact moment. Number 3 is to make other people look good. And of all of the things that exist in all of improv, that is the most important, like number 1 focus is that as an improviser, I don't care about what I look like. My number 1 goal is to make my partner and their ideas and offers look brilliant. That is my number 1 focus and priority. That is all that I care about. I don't care about what I look like. I want to make this person look brilliant. Number 4 is we embrace change and failure. That is a huge part of improv, is that we are constantly failing. Everything is constantly changing, and like we love that. For us, that's like part of the magic, and we understand that if we set out to do anything in the world, like change, failure are neighborhoods that we have to drive through to get anywhere that we want to go, and we love it. Like that's where the magic and beauty happens, right? Like undiscovered things. And the last one, number 5, is to be positive. To use positive language, to be optimistic, not to fight with one another on stage or off stage. That's it. Those are the 5 tenets of improv, right? To say yes, to listen and be present, to make other people look good, to embrace change and failure, and to be positive. And there's nothing in there about being funny or quick-witted or clever or impressing anybody with your cool ideas. Those things are the death of improv. And the people that come in that want to take improv classes and perform that are like, I'm hilarious, this is going to be so funny, are terrible. They're terrible. Those people ruin improv. Truly, like they're nightmare students. Nobody wants to play or perform or be on a team with those types of people. They are not fun to play with. Like improv is not about standing out, looking good, being funny and hilarious and impressing anybody with your cool ideas. Like for sure, the same things that make you a great improviser are the same things that make you a great friend. Super simple, very, very true. They're also the same things that make you a more effective leader, a more valuable part of a team, and just a more awesome and well-rounded human being navigating this world with other human beings. Because when we talk about culture, when we talk about teams, we talk about anything that we do, right? The heart of that is relationships. How do we show up together? How do we impact one another? Like, what does it feel like to be here? Cool. So that's what this is about. That's what Yes And is about. Those are the 5 tenets. So this is how this is going to work. I don't have slides. I'm not going to be sharing a slideshow and talking about the theory and idea of yes and culture and all that kind of stuff. How this is going to work is that this is going to be very interactive. In that, all of you are going to have an opportunity to run through like 2 or 3, a couple of very simple, quick activities that will allow you to like actually experience the things that we're talking about and put these skills into practice in real time and actually experience what they feel like to use so that you get them and then you understand them. And I need to say this right now because it's critically important that when you hear improv, and also that this is going to be interactive, at least most of you are terrified right now. That you're gonna have to like do something stupid or come up here on stage or act like a chicken or like do some weird role play, corny thing that's weird, like, okay, you're the sheriff and you're an outlaw, go. And like, none of that is going to happen. We are not going to do any improv in this room. You're not gonna have to role play and do weird, corny, cheesy things. No one's gonna act like a chicken. Everything that we're gonna do, you get to sit right where you're sitting right now. We're gonna partner up. We're going to like small groups together that are like close together, and everyone is going to do the same thing at exactly the same time. Nobody's gonna observe you. You are going to laugh your faces off. And we're gonna talk about a lot of really profound things that will impact you as a human being. I promise you, I've done this many, many, many times. That is the case. And I also want to say this, that if you are the kind of person when some outside speaker is like, we're going to do something interactive, and you die inside and wish that you had not come to this session and this time, we are kindred spirits. I hate those things. And like, I'm an incredibly empathetic person, so if anyone is uncomfortable, it immediately drains my batteries and it makes me want to die. Even being in the audience and like, I'm so uncomfortable when other people are uncomfortable, I cannot stand it. So I have to do this with oil refinery construction workers or like engineers at Microsoft. They're like, what is this? Don't look at me, and be fine. So I promise you, you are going to be fine. You are in good hands because I'm allergic to cheesy, corny stuff. Like, I've got you, I promise you. Good, that's what I want to say. And also, like, the reason that we're gonna do these couple quick, simple things here is because, oh, hi. Good. Is because I am a firm believer 100% that like I can talk about anything in the universe for an hour and you will forget it in a week or a couple days. Like you cannot read a book to learn how to swim, right? And like I can talk about the theory of these things forever. Unless you experience it and actually have a thing where you do this in real time and feel what it feels like to use, it will not mean anything to you. I know that. This is how we learn and how things like really stick in our brain by being like, this is what this feels like. Cool, that's why we're gonna do these couple simple things. So, great. That's it. That's all of the like blah, 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 blah I'm gonna do. So we're just gonna launch into the first thing that you are going to do together. So, for this first activity, this is very simple. All of you are going to just grab a partner, which the person sitting right next to you is perfect. But if you have an odd number of people or whatever, just like find someone to be your partner. You might have to like move seats one away or something like that, but just like everyone grab a partner, and I will explain what we're gonna do in a second. But yeah, just like partner up quickly. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Okay, and I know that everybody does not have a partner at this point. Like, if you do not have a partner, like, put a hand up if you're lost in the shuffle or like, anybody? Okay, right here. Somebody that's close to you is a team of 3 or does not have a partner, I promise. Somebody close here? Yes? Right here. Hold your hand up. Yeah. Yes. Da, da, da. Okay, great. Totally fine. Lovely. Okay, so, and I just want to also say this too, that like, this activity is completely fine to do as a group of 3. It will still work as a group of 3. And here's this very short disclaimer to you as well. This is like, I'm a big fan of challenge by choice. I know you don't know me, and I know you don't trust me, and don't have any reason to believe that like what I said is true, but I would just like gently invite you to do this thing. If you're like, I'm gonna sit this out and watch everyone do this because I don't really trust this dude, I get you, I feel you, I love you, right here, but if you just watch everybody else do these couple things, it will not have the same impact as just doing this experience and feeling it in real time. So like, I just invite you to like, don't sit this out, don't observe, like get with somebody else, grab a partner, or get into a group of 3 and like do this thing. Cool, That's all I'm gonna say. And also that like window right there, like grab a partner, that would have been your time to like get a phone call and leave and not come back. But you made the right choice. Thank you for sticking around. Okay, cool. Here's what we're gonna do with your partner for this first activity. Really, really, really simple. But this is how it works. You and your partner together for this first activity are going to write a letter, and you do not need pen and paper. So it's just gonna happen out loud. For the overachievers in the room, they're like, let me grab my paper. You do not need that. It's gonna happen out loud. You're not gonna write it down. And for this letter, with you and your partner, it is the two of you are the same person writing a letter to a second person that is neither one of you. And each of you in the letter can only contribute one word at a time back and forth as you write this letter. That is how this game works. So let's see. What is your name? Yes. Jose. Okay. If Jose were my partner, can I like use you as an example here one time? Okay, cool. This is the only time I'm going to use someone as an example. But if we mess this up, it's great for everyone to see how this can get messed up. Right, if Jose is my partner, one word at a time, back and forth, it might look something like this. Dear John, I am so happy that you are coming to us on Saturday for dinner together with me. Great, okay. Crushed it. Great, okay. So, yeah, Jose, okay, so that is exactly correct, right? One word at a time, back and forth. Dear John, I'm so happy to invite you to see if you can come, right? So exactly like that, the two of us are the same person writing a letter to a second person. So a couple things about this before you begin this and try this with your partner. Number one, do not use each other's names. Right? It's not like, dear Galen, how are you? Fine. Don't do that. It is not a conversation between the two of you. That will confuse you and will not make any sense. I just want to be super clear. The two of you are the same person. You're writing a letter to a second person that is neither one of you. And also, this is very difficult to do and have it make sense because you can only say one word at a time. Your partner has a different idea from moment to moment of like what is happening next, where things are going, how the letter's going to turn out. So your goal here is just to have the letter make sense. You're not trying to be funny or weird or clever or interesting or like throw your partner for a loop. I promise you, just writing a letter one word at a time that is coherent and makes sense is enough of a challenge. You don't need to try to like, don't be weird. Don't make it harder on yourself. And the last thing, if you're already weird, it's okay. The last thing I'm going to share with you is something that will make this easier for all of you. We have something in improv that I love that we call the failure bow. And the failure bow is this. If Jose and I are writing the letter and it gets messed up, it turns into gobbledygook, or we can't continue, or we're confused, or we're like talking about the letter, like, I don't know. The failure bow is both people with a pleasant look on their face, put their hands up and go again, and you just like crumple it up and chuck it. There are zero consequences to trashing and destroying a letter and starting over a totally different letter. That is completely fine. It doesn't matter. It's great. It's like it's not working. Be like, again, dear someone completely different, and you don't have to start over the same letter and try to make it make sense. Just like it's gone, someone completely different, start over. So everyone is going to do this at exactly the same time, one word at a time, back and forth with your partner. Okay, go. Give it a shot. What's that?
I talked to Mike. He said he had the air conditioning.
Oh, that's what I figured.
Came on,
That's
and I was
great.
like,
That was funny.
never happened.
I loved it. It was super funny. Okay, good. That's great. That's great. Yeah, you can wrap it up even if you're not done. That's totally fine. So, just curious to hear thoughts, feelings, experience. How was that? Yeah, easy, difficult. Some of both. Some of both. Did anyone have the experience where you and your partner could get on the same page and fire off like a couple words, like the end of a sentence, like the next 2 or 3 words, but then other times when it does not happen at all? Yes. Did anyone have the experience where you thought you knew where the story was going, but then your partner said a word that screwed it up, like destroyed the story? Yes. And if that happened to anyone, did anybody find themselves trying to like force their idea back into the story, like redirect it? Cool. So there's a lot of things happening inside this game. It's so simple, right? It's like one word at a time, but it is my favorite to showcase everything that happens when we interact and communicate with other people, right? Because in this game, you and your partner together are creating something different than what you would create by yourself. There's multiple brains at work. There's multiple ideas of like where things are going to go, how things are going to turn out, right? Which is true in life, at work, in business, right? There's multiple interests at play. There's multiple ideas of like, this is how we go about this. This is how we do it. The only way to make this game work and flow and be successful is to apply these tenets of improv, right? To be present and listening and in the moment with your partner. Also to embrace change, to be willing to change direction midstream and just go where the story is going. Also to say yes, right, to your partner's ideas. Because if Jose is my partner, every single word that he says in the letter is an offer that I must accept immediately. And every single word that I say in the letter is an offer that he must accept immediately. So if we get started and it's, dear grandma, I lost my, and I'm thinking, wallet. I've lost my wallet, and I'm going to ask grandma to wire me some money, but Jose says dog instead of wallet because he has no idea what I'm thinking. I need to be present enough to immediately throw away the wallet idea and accept that I've lost my dog, and I'm telling grandma about how I've lost my dog. But if I spend the rest of the time in the letter trying to mention how I've not only lost my dog, but I've also lost my wallet, and I need grandma to wire me some money, and I'm preoccupied with bending it to my will. I'm preoccupied with it turning out the way that I want to and holding on to my idea as precious instead of just creating this thing together with my partner. Because the letter that I would write with Jose, I could not write the same letter with any other person in this room. He could not write the same letter with any other person in this room. It can only exist right here, right now, between the two of us, by both of us, right? Accepting and being inspired by each other's ideas and just creating this thing together. So we're going to do this again. Exactly the same partner, exactly the same activity, one word at a time back and forth. But this time, I want you to keep that idea in your mind, that every single word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept immediately and let the story go that direction. Even if you have another idea of where the story's going and your idea is way better, just drop it, right? Let it go. As soon as it doesn't make sense, just drop it and like be in that space. And we've already done this one time. It may still totally get messed up, which is fine. You can be like, again, but I just want you to do it with that focus, that every word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept, and just like have that focus in your brain as you do it the second time. Okay, go, give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. Yep. Cool. You're going to wrap it up even if you're not done. And everybody give your partner a high five. Because they're awesome. Okay, great. So, I am curious to hear thoughts, feelings, experience. How was that the second time? Better? Yeah. Who thought it was easier the second time? Did anybody feel like it was more difficult the second time? Good. Embrace failure. Just kidding. But I have done that some version of that activity, like some one-word story, like literally probably 10,000 times in my life by now, and still write letters that are like, what is happening right now? This is terrible. But for everybody, whether it was a lot easier, about the same, more difficult, did you notice a difference, a shift in yourself of whether or not you were being present and in the moment and accepting your partner's offers? Yes, that shift in you, in the way that you show up when you interact and communicate with other people is so important. That when somebody else is in front of us and we're interacting and communicating with somebody else, that we are tuned in and present and listening to that person. I know that everybody in this entire room, all of you, have had an experience where you're talking to somebody and they're not listening to you at all. Right? They're not looking at you, they're not paying attention. You know they could not repeat a single word of what you said. If you're married, just kidding, but also not kidding. And we've all been guilty of that. Someone's talking to me and I'm just, yeah, not a single syllable processed in my brain. What is important in that situation is not the information being passed from one person to the next. You could write it down, you could text them, you could send them an email, you could tell them later. There's another way to get that information to that person at another time in another manner. What is important in that situation is what it feels like to us as human beings when somebody is not listening to us. It feels like this person doesn't care about what I have to say, they're not interested, they don't agree, they don't like me, whatever. Even if you're not a touchy-feely kind of person, that is how we connect as human beings. We constantly listen to and tell each other stories, right? All the time. It's like, how's it going? How have you been? How was your weekend? Guess where I'm going on vacation? It is how we connect. We don't just stand in a room and like make faces at each other. We tell each other stories, right? And I also know this is true as everyone has had an experience as a client or a customer where you walk into a store to buy a TV or a phone, or you walk into a dealership to buy a car, and you come across a salesperson who you can tell is just waiting for you to shut up so they can blah, 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 about whatever they want to sell you on this thing that you may or may not care about at all. And if you leave that store, the dealership, you go somewhere else, you come across a salesperson who's just right there. They're present, they're looking at you, they're asking you questions, they're letting you speak, and you actually feel like this person's trying to help me get what I want. 100 out of 100 times, you'd rather do business with that person. On paper, it is exactly the same transaction. But the experience to us in the moment as human beings is what makes the difference for us. And yes, that is true as a customer or a client. That is also true as part of a team. As a colleague, as a leader, as an employee, as a teacher, as a student, right? As a friend in a relationship. You are 100% responsible for what it feels like to talk to you. Nobody else owns that. And it's so important for us to be conscious and intentional about what it feels like to interact with us, right? There's a huge difference between hearing what somebody said and making somebody feel listened to. And as I go through my day and interact with other human beings, if my intention is to make that person feel listened to, I show up in a completely different way, right? My eye contact, my body language, that I'm tuned in, I'm asking them questions, right? If my focus is on your experience, not mine, I'm making you feel listened to, not I heard what you said. Huge difference. And I think it's very easy in life, at work, right, to get caught up in the trap of just listening to somebody enough to form a response and then waiting for them to stop making noise with their mouth so that you can say back what you are already going to say back to them, right? Someone's talking to you, right, me, and get the gist of what they're saying, and I'm like, shut it. They stop talking. I'm like, ugh. It is so important to let somebody finish what they're saying without interrupting them and respond based on what we heard them say in the moment. Right? It's so important. And the other thing is that this exercise proves how easy it is for us to do that if we're just intentional about it. If you are just conscious and intentional about that, it changes everything. If you think back to the first letter that you wrote with your partner, of the two, in the first letter, everybody in this room totally focused on yourself. You're in your own head thinking, what word am I going to say? Right? Where's the story going to go? Like all that kind of stuff. In the second letter, when we talked about the idea that every word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept and let the story go that direction, your focus, your presence extended around your partner. You're able to be aware of, am I listening to and honoring this person's ideas and offers as well as giving my own? Your brain can process that much information. It's super powerful. We just have to choose to be intentional about that and show up like that. And the impact that we can have on other people just to do that simple thing is monumental, right? That we make other people feel listened to and heard, like massive, regardless of your role. If you're a human being and you have relationships, like that matters. Okay, cool. We're going to switch gears, do something completely different. So for this next activity, that was just simple, kind of like 1.0, but the next thing we're going to do is something different. And here's what you're going to do. Some of you you're going to survive this, I promise you, but we're going to get a different partner. So if you only came here with one other person and like you only someone close to you, it's okay. You're going to make a new friend, but like find someone else that you did not just partner with. We're going to do something completely different. So re-partner up with somebody else. You might have to move your seat a little bit. Like you're fine. Just find someone close by. Re-partner up with someone else. And I'll tell you what we're going to do in a second. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Everybody has a new partner? Good. And also, for this activity, just like with the first one, it is okay to have a group of 3. It will not be ruined if there's a group of 3 with this. So of all the things that we're going to do, like this is my favorite. I love this. Like, watch what is going to happen in this room. So, all right, here we go. So for this next activity, very, very simple. You and your partner for this are going to be going on a picnic together. How pleasant. And all you're going to do for this activity, very simply, is take turns suggesting something to bring along with the 2 of you on this picnic. That's it. Just back and forth, one idea at a time. So if Jose, again, is my partner, best partner in the universe, if Jose is my partner and he goes first, he might say, let's bring a Frisbee. Right? That's it. Let's bring a, or let's bring some, fill in the blank. Anything he wants to suggest. I will say no. And I'll give a quick reason why I don't like that idea, and then I will suggest something else. And I can say anything I want. I can be like, no, I don't want to bring a Frisbee. It's too windy outside, or I suck at Frisbee. It's boring. It's not. And then I'll suggest something else, right? Let's bring a blanket to sit on. He will say no, and give a quick reason why he doesn't like that idea, and then suggest something else. So every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, no matter what it is, it's a flat-out no. Give a reason why that idea sucks, and then suggest something else instead. And I want to say this, it's very important. I know that like some of you, all of you probably, are like kind, nice people and you want to be nice. This is not the time for that. So don't be wishy-washy with your answer. I actually want you to say the word no. It's a hard no. Give a reason why you don't like that idea, and then like suggest something else. Don't be like, oh, okay, whatever. Don't do that. It's a hard no. Reason why you don't like it, that idea sucks, and then suggest something else instead. Your partner will have the same reaction. So that is it. Back and forth, one idea at a time. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. Great. That's great. You can wrap it up, even if you're not done, that's fine. All right. That is officially the worst picnic ever. No picnic happening at all. Okay, great. So, round 2. Same partner, same exercise, one idea at a time, back and forth to go on this picnic. This time, every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, instead of a flat out no, you're just going to be indifferent to it. So if Jose says, let's bring our bikes and ride around, I might respond like, you can bring your bike if you want to. I'm not going to ride around, but go ahead. So my attitude about it is that it's not a good idea. I'll allow it. I'm not saying no to it. I'll allow it, but I'm not going to participate in it. Right? If you don't want the watermelon, go ahead, knock yourself out. I'm not going to have any, but I don't care. Do whatever you want. And then I will suggest something else. He'll have the same reaction to me. Totally indifferent. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Sure, no problem. And then one idea at a time, back and forth. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. You can wrap it up. Okay, that is officially the second worst picnic ever. I think that one's worse than the first one. Yeah, it's like passive-aggressive picnic. Going on a picnic with a teenager, it's like, I love them, but geez. Okay, great. Round 3, same partner, same exercise, one idea at a time, back and forth. This time, every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, no matter what it is, you must say yes, excitedly, like it is the single greatest idea you've ever heard of anything to come along on a picnic in your entire life. It doesn't matter what it is. If Jose's like, let's bring a jar of pickles, I'd be like, yes! I love pickles, that's perfect. And then I'll suggest something else, you have the same reaction. And I actually want you to say the word yes out of your mouth. Enthusiastic is the greatest idea you've ever heard every single time. And then suggest something else, your partner has the same response. Okay, go, give it a shot. Okay, good. Nice. That's great. That's great. You can wrap it up, and everybody give your partner a high five for being awesome. Okay. Good. I'm curious to hear thoughts, feelings, experience. How was that? Better? Yeah. Too weird. Great. So, and I'm curious to hear, just like in general, what did you notice different about the third version of that than the first two? Just in general, what did you notice different? More energy, more excited. What was that? Yeah, more collaboration. Do people feel like that, like just felt more connected that way? Good. Anything else people notice?
There was sort of more creativity with the no one, though.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, because if somebody said something you really liked that you would want at a picnic, and you had to say no, and then you had to say why no, you had to be really creative to say why it's not that thing.
Okay. Good. Yeah, a little bit. And there was a hand up here.
I was just a little concerned. I think we plotted a murder.
Got it. And sort of like in that vein, I think along kind of like the same lines, but who felt like in the third one that like ideas got more like creative or like weird or more outside the box? Good. What? Yeah. Do people feel like that? The ideas like built on each other in the last one? Instead of kind of starting from scratch, they sort of like built on, they make like sort of built on ideas. Good. Anything else people notice in general? More supportive? Yeah, it just felt like more supportive. Good. Anything else people notice? Yeah. It was easier to say yes than no. Yeah, I think like it makes things flow faster and better, right? Good. Cool. Anything else? Any other observations?
The last picnic is going to be one picnic, and passive-aggressive picnic turned into like 3 different.
Yeah. Where you like actually feel like it's cohesive, right? You're like on the same page, like it's all one, as opposed to like you're having your completely separate picnic than I am. Yeah. So like actually like a whole team, like one specific thing. Good. Yeah. Anything else people notice? Just in general observations? Yeah.
I think the positive one, the S one, was leading us to outdo each other as far as how crazy could we get this.
Yeah. Yeah, I said that like the third one, so like they ended up sort of like outdoing each other with like how crazy, how weird. And I think there's like an element of like playfulness, right? When you get to the third one too, this person has to say yes, so maybe we suggest things are terrible just because we know they don't have a choice, right? That like comes into play. So great, and also like another thing I'm curious, just specifically for all of you, what did you notice different specifically about your partner? Like, what did you notice different specifically about your partner in the third version of that versus your partner in the first two?
They were smiling.
Yeah, smiling. Yeah, more enthusiastic. Yeah. What was that? Yeah, the look, more eye contact is like more like connected that way. Yeah. Anything else people notice different about their partner? You liked them better? Yeah. You didn't hate that person? You might actually consider going on a picnic with that person versus the first two. Like, no. Yeah, but all those things, right? They're like laughing. People are like engaged, like body language, like a lot more animated. But yeah, people like goes louder in here. It's like people smiling, laughing, all those things. So I want to just sort of speak to this for a few minutes and kind of unpack what's going on here. Because you're all intelligent adults, right? We get what's happening here. There's no mystery to this game. Say no to something, be indifferent to it, say yes to it. Like, okay, it's not like a huge surprise, like, oh, you're intelligent, we get it. But there's two things happening inside this game that are so critically important to the way that you show up and how you impact other people in your life every single day, all day long. Number one, that is what it feels like to have somebody else say yes to one of your ideas. It feels great. Even though they have to in this game. They don't have a choice. They have to say yes. It still feels great. If I have an idea that I'm not really sure about, I'm like, I don't know, let's bring some chairs. And Jose's like, yeah, chairs, that's awesome. I am instantly inspired about my own idea. Even if I was totally lukewarm about it 2 seconds ago, as soon as he's like, yeah, chairs, I'm like, chair suggester. This guy. What? I mean, no big deal, but it was my idea, so that's cool. And the opposite is true, right? When he's like, chairs, that's stupid. I want to sit around on a chair all day. No, that's boring. That's dumb. I don't want to do that. I take that on too. I'm like, oh yeah, chairs. What? Who said that? That's stupid. Or, depending on my personality type, I don't take that on. I just silently resent him because he hated my idea, right? I'm like, oh, you don't like chairs? What do you got? What do you got? Just kidding, we're cool. Secondly, that is what it feels like to say yes to somebody else's idea. Something that was generated in someone else's brain, it came out of somebody else's mouth, you said yes to it like it was the greatest idea that you've ever heard, and nobody died from that. Also, had the awesome side effect of having your partner have a completely different experience in that game, right? To be laughing, to be smiling, to be more animated, to feel more connected, to feel more creative, to be playful, right? A completely different experience for your partner, not based on the quality of their ideas, 100% based on your response. A completely different experience for your partner just because you said yes like it was the greatest idea you've ever heard. And I can smell smoke grinding in people's brains out there, so I'll say it so you don't have to say it. We can't say yes to every single thing in the world. We cannot. This is business, it's real life. There are plenty of horrible, terrible ideas out there that you have to say no to. Otherwise, you'll put yourself in a personal or financial danger, you'll get sued, you'll go out of business. Like, there are lots of very bad ideas. You must say no to those ideas. I am not saying or suggesting the purpose of this exercise is not like, hey, let's say yes to every single thing in the world no matter what and be ridiculous, right? That is not possible. This is real life, it's business, it's work. What we do is important. We have to be critical thinkers. We have to make smart decisions, right? We have to be analytical. We cannot just say yes to everything in the world, right? This isn't like, okay, when someone has an idea, but yeah, I love that idea. We'll put it into practice right away. We'll never fight again. Always get along. Good luck. Not possible, right? That's not what's possible. This activity, this exercise, is not about saying yes to other people's ideas. It is not. What this is about you being aware of and taking responsibility for the way that you impact every single person in your life, every single time that you open your mouth based on your choice of words, your body language, your energy level, your mindset, all of those things. We have a massive, monumental impact over the people that we interact with on our day-to-day basis, and it is not based on that we say yes or no to their ideas. The outcome of saying yes to somebody else's idea is irrelevant, right? There's a way to say yes to someone to make them feel like crap. If I'm like, fine, I'll go on a hike with you. Ugh. Technically, that's a yes. And it sucks. And there's a way to say no to someone to make them feel like I heard what you said, I considered it, this conversation is important to me, you are valuable to me, but that idea does not work, and this is why. It is possible to say no to the idea and yes to the person. And the distinction between those two things is so important that you understand those are different and to take responsibility for that. It is not that you say yes or that you say no. It is how you say yes and how you say no and how you respond to other people in your life. That is the heart and that is the heart and soul of how you impact other people in your life and your relationship with them, 100%. I know that every person in this room, every single one of you, right now, can think of somebody in your life right now, immediately, top of mind, that if you have something you want to go do or go try and you're totally excited and fired up about this thing and you tell this person about it, they will shoot it down. You can think of that person right now. You can see a picture, an image of their faces in your brain right now. You know who I'm talking about. It doesn't matter how excited you are. It doesn't matter how positive it is. It doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with them. You can guarantee before they open their mouth that this person will say something and crap you out about that idea. I wouldn't do that. Watch out for this. Why would you do that? Those people are some of you are those people. They are everywhere. I love you, but they are everywhere. And I know that every one of you, every person in this room can also think of somebody else in your life right now, top of mind, immediately, that if you had that same idea, same amount of excitement, and you're fired up and excited about this, and you tell this person about it, instant cheerleader. You have the friend, coworker, spouse, acquaintance, somebody in your life that you know that immediately, as soon as you share that idea with them, would be like, yes, that's awesome, I'm excited for you, I want to hear all about it, go do that thing, it's awesome, I love it. And I know that those are two giant extremes, but the reality is, which one of those two people do you want to be to the other people in your life? You have a choice, literally. Every single time that you open your mouth to make somebody's day a little bit better or a little bit worse, and that is on you. You own that. The words that come out of your mouth and how they come out of your mouth belong to you. They are a choice. It's so important that we are conscious and aware of this. And the truth about this is that this is not an intentional thing. Nobody in the world wakes up to be like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say no to people's ideas and crap them out and be like, okay, off to work, let's go, I got a plan. Like, that's not a thing. It seems like it. That is not what anybody does. I guarantee you, the person that you thought of in your life as that no person that would shoot things down and like crap you out about that idea, that person does not see themselves as that. I guarantee you that person would be shocked to learn that of all the people that you know in your entire life, you would be least excited to share an idea with them based on how they consistently respond to you. I promise you that person thinks that they're a shining light of hope and help in your life. That's what they think. They think they're a beacon of guidance and wisdom in your life. That's what they think. They have no idea the impact that they have on you and your like willingness to share an idea with them, right, at all. And like, this is 100% about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. What words do I say, and how do I say them, and what impact does it have on the people around me? And the 2.0 version of that is, what impact does it have on my relationship with those people? How do those people show up around me as a result of how I consistently respond to them, right? And I think the like very powerful question to think about and just reflect on for 1/2 of a second is, if everyone in your life were to be asked the same question, would they think of you first, right? And like, is that what you want, right? Just for us to be aware of this. It's so important. And like, I think it's very easy for us to kind of move through the world and not be as intentional about this and aware of the impact that we have in like very subtle ways. I have a story about this that perfectly exemplifies what I'm talking about. A number of years ago, I got done doing this workshop with this team, and afterwards this guy came up and like shared his story with me. He was planning on running a marathon. Never run a marathon before in his entire life. It was a half marathon. It was months in advance. He was like super fired up about this marathon. His friends were supportive. He was gonna train for it, go do it. He just got this wild hair and he's like, yeah, marathon time. His dad lives on the East Coast, and he's on the phone with his dad one day and he's like, Dad, I'm thinking about running this marathon. And his dad goes, really? Why? Why would you do that? And his dad proceeds to tell him about how running is bad for your body, and what's the point of running a marathon, because you can't win anything, and how miserable it is to train for months and months and months, blisters on your feet, right? Like, what is the point of that? It's miserable. You gotta buy all this equipment, and like, it's the worst idea you've ever heard. Why would you do that? And even though this guy was super stoked about running this marathon, his dad just sucked all the wind out of his sails, planted a seed of doubt. He got off the phone. He ended up not running the marathon because of that conversation with his dad. Which is ridiculous. Like, what is the point, right? What is the point of injecting negativity into a situation that does not warrant it? You have so many opportunities in your life to just shut your mouth, and you should take advantage of that opportunity every chance that you get. Every chance. Especially if the only thing that you have to contribute in that moment is your suddenly expert opinion about something that's negative that has nothing to do with you. Right? To trash on something or somebody else's idea when like you don't care. This guy's dad wasn't trying to stop him from running a marathon. He doesn't care about marathons. And his dad doesn't have to get up and train for months and run a marathon, so why does he care? Right? He could have responded by saying, that's awesome, go get it. I want to hear all about it. Like, I'm proud of you, go do it, right? What's the difference? And again, it's not about being fake. It's not about being fake and like this fake, happy, positive, toxic person, right? Like, it's not about that. If I have a friend who's like, I'm thinking about robbing a bank, I'm not like, yeah, follow your dreams. Like, it's not about that. Truly, it's about discretion. Do I need to respond to this thing in this manner? Do I need to trash this thing and like put this thing down? What is the impact of that? Am I trying to make myself look smart? Like, what is the point of that, right? To be very intentional about the impact, how we respond. It does not matter that we say yes or that we say no. It is how we say yes and how we say no and how we respond to other people. And I work with teams, every industry, every size, in the entire universe. Nonprofit, I don't care. Human beings are human beings everywhere that you go. And if you ask anybody, do you like your team? Do you like your job? Do you like your boss? Do you like being here? I guarantee you that this conversation is the heart of that. How do we treat each other? How do we respond to one another? How do we make each other feel, right? And it's not in the big, huge ideas. I had this meeting and an idea in a meeting and people shut me down. I think this really takes place in the like 50 to 100 micro-transactions of communication that we have throughout the day with every person that we interact with. And for us to just simply take responsibility of our choice of words, our body language, how we respond, how we say yes, how we say no, is such a monumental thing to culture, to like what it feels like to be here. It's so important. Real talk, I love you, but it matters. Okay, good, cool. We're going to switch gears. We're going to do one last thing and sort of like put a bow on this that is fun. So for the socks activity, this is going to be a little bit different than the other ones that we did. And also, I know this space is like slightly chaotic for this, but I promise you, you're intelligent people. You're going to figure this out. You're going to get into a group of like 4 or 5-ish people. So you might have to like stand up or like, just like make a group of 4 or 5 people. Just make sure that like you're sort of in a circle, that everybody can hear each other, and I will explain what we're gonna do. And it's okay to have like 5 or 6, like 4, 5, 6 is great. No less than like 4. Don't have 3, have like just find a little group, make some space for yourselves, and I will explain what you're gonna do in a second. So yeah, get into groups of 4, 5, 6-ish, cool. And don't wipe out climbing over seats. Don't die. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. And if you need 1 or 2 more people, like put some hands up, call people over, like grab people in. Okay. Great. Okay, good. I see full groups of circles of people. Everybody good? We have a little group? Okay, perfect. So here's what you're gonna do with your group. This is relatively simple. It kind of incorporates everything we've talked about here. So we're gonna play, this is just a simple brainstorm game, and this is how it works. I'm gonna give you, as a team, something to build and create together as this team, and you're just gonna brainstorm and build this thing together, like one idea at a time. So it's basically a brainstorming game, and we're just gonna popcorn ideas. So anyone that has an idea can share it. We're not gonna take turns, like around the circle, you go, you go, you go. It's just like anyone that's inspired can just throw out an idea at any moment, it's fine, we're just gonna popcorn. So here's how this game works. Let's say I'm part of this front team right here, and let's say the thing that we're building and creating together is a cake, a delicious, tasty cake. So anyone that has an idea can just share it. So I might just pop out and be like, it's a chocolate cake, right? This is what it is. Everybody on the rest of the team immediately, when anyone shares an idea, goes, yes! And then anybody else can add an idea onto this idea as we brainstorm and build this thing together, right? Pretty simple. So as we get started, it might look something like this. I might be like, it's a chocolate cake. Yes. It's a birthday cake. Yes. It's got candles on it. Yes. It's got orange frosting. Yes, right? One idea at a time, we just build this thing together as a brainstorm. So really, really simple. But a couple of ground rules for this game that are important about how we play this game. So, number 1, it is important to resist the very human urge to change or cancel somebody else's idea. So if I say, it's a chocolate cake, someone should not be like, yeah, but half of it is vanilla. Just be aware of, don't cancel or change somebody else's idea, right? Someone gives an idea, we're saying yes to it, that's what we have, that's what we build on, so just be listening and be aware of that. And secondly, this is the most important thing about this game, and that is this. When anybody on the team, right in the circle, shares an idea, every single other person in that team immediately out loud of their mouth says the word yes. It is not acceptable to just pleasantly nod at somebody when they give an idea. No? I hear giggles, but I'll look around this room and see people being like, Can't do that. You have to say yes immediately out of your mouth, and not like after a 4-second pause where you consider if you like their idea or not, right? Someone shares an idea, everybody else jumps on that idea immediately with a yes, that's what we have, and we build from there. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, cool. You got it, you're gonna kill it, and be amazing. So, the first thing you're gonna build with your team, with your group together is a tropical island. And you're gonna make up an island out of thin air that doesn't already exist. So you're not gonna use Hawaii, right? You're gonna make up an island and anything goes. Anything that you wanna add to this island is fair game. So what is it called? Where is it? How big is it? How do you get there? What's on the island? What does it look like? What do people do there? Literally, anything you want to make this island as awesome as possible is fair game. If I'm like, there's 3 sunsets a day, my team will be like, yes, right? Anything goes. The most awesome thing you can think of, everybody jumps on every single idea with a yes immediately. Okay, start with like, what is it called? And build it from there. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. Nice. Okay, great. How was that? Good? Yeah. Was everybody saying yes to every single idea? Yes. Okay, cool. Great. You're going to hate this a little tiny bit, but I promise you, you're going to survive it. You're going to be fine. Everyone is going to just quickly sort of like scatter and find a new group. So maybe one person stay and everybody else go, but just like find a new group of 4 or 5 or 6. Just quickly, don't die climbing on chairs, but just like totally mix up somewhere else, new people. Okay. Groovy. Everybody has a new group? Okay. Perfect. Nobody got lost in the shuffle here? Okay. Wonderful. All right. So here's what we're going to do. New group, exactly the same rules, but this time we're going to build something totally different. So this time with your new team that you're sitting with right now, what you're going to do is create out of thin air a brand new sport that doesn't already exist and all the rules to that sport. So pretty simple. Start with what is it called? How many players on a team? How do you score points? How do you win? What kind of field is it played on? What sort of outfits or equipments do the players use? Is it co-ed? Is it professional? Is it paid? Who watches it? Anything about the sport, same thing. One idea at a time, just throw it out there. Everybody says yes immediately. Start with like, what is it called? And then just like add one piece at a time. Again, everyone says yes to every single idea immediately. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. And everybody give the rest of your team a hand for being awesome. Okay, yeah, just wherever you are, you can kind of quickly like have a seat. You don't have to go all the way back to where you were, but okay. Good. I have a question for all of you, which is this. If the very first thing that I did when I got up here an hour ago, right when I started, without talking about improv or yes and or any of those kinds of things, I just walked up here on stage and was like, cool, get into a group of 5 or 6 people and out of thin air, create a brand new sport that doesn't exist and all the rules to that sport. That's it. Just walked up here and did that right away an hour ago. What would that have looked like in here? Nope. Right? Super awkward. Maybe a couple of you sharing ideas. Most people in this room would not have opened your mouth one time, right? You'd be like, what sports is dumb? Ugh, exercises. Ugh, who's this guy? There is no way at all, 0% chance, literally at all, that you could have done what you just did in that group of people that you're sitting next to right now 1 hour ago. There's no way. There's probably some super weird ideas out there. There is absolutely 0% chance you could have, thinking about that sport and all the ideas and what you came up with and all that sport is, there is no way at all you could have done that. Not even remotely close to that thing. And nobody in this room is any different. You are exactly the same people that you were 1 hour ago. Nobody in this room is more like creative. Nobody in this room is more like confident, right? Or about sharing their ideas in front of other people. Nobody in this room is more outgoing than you were. Nobody in this room knows anything more about sports than you did 1 hour ago. You are exactly the same people. All that we did was change our culture. That's it. We changed the way that we participate, how we engage, what it means to be part of a team, how we respond to other people's ideas and collaborate and work together, and all of a sudden, look what is possible. Like, can you imagine if this is what work felt like every day? Every single person, 100% fully, fearlessly engaged. And I feel like I mean that, fearlessly. During that time, was there anyone that had a bunch of ideas that they didn't share because they thought that people would think they were stupid? Nope, you shared all your stupid ideas. And they were fine because the rest of your team was like, yes! And then you built this weird, awesome, cool, creative sport that you could not have done an hour ago. You guys, this right here is the power of having an intentional culture that says this is what it means to be part of this team. This is how we show up together. This is how we treat each other. This is how we work together, respond to other people's ideas. And all of a sudden, this is possible. I am convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, in any organization, in any industry, in the universe, I don't care what you do, that this, what you just experienced in this room, is the difference between just getting by and being good enough and being exceptional. It is this. Can you imagine if we could tap into this for every single person, every single day, right? Every one of you in this room, for me to look around this room and see every person, every single circle, like with a huge smile on your face, like throwing out these weird ideas and being engaged and like saying yes and all that stuff, knowing most of you would have sat there quiet and weird and awkward and not shared a thing and hated me 1 hour ago. It is such a powerful thing to observe and understand that this is real. I can talk about culture all I want and the theory of culture and what culture looks like and how we make culture, but like this is what it feels like. To get every single person to completely engage and be actually there. Can you imagine, instead of the bottom 20 or 30% of how we show up every single day and the people around us, if we can tap into even 70% of this? There is, in every group, in every team, in every classroom in the universe, there is a very large, very deep well of untapped creativity, collaboration, engagement, right? That is like just sitting there that we are not even getting close to scratching the surface of. Right? And if we start having meaningful conversations about what does culture mean for us, how do we show up together, it's such a powerful thing. Like, this room is full of creative, brilliant, intelligent people. All of you are very intelligent, you're very creative, you're brilliant. All of those ideas were wonderful and great. But an hour ago, you just sat there weird and quiet and awkward and not shared anything. And truly, in real time, what that proves to us is that we do not need better people inside our organization. What we need is a culture that brings the best out of the people that we already have. There's so much here. There's so much that we're not even scratching the surface of, and like it's so powerful. Like, do you guys feel that? Like, who wouldn't want this, right? And it doesn't mean that, like, if we're able to do this in 1 hour time, using these simple 5 tenets of improv, right? That we say yes, that we listen, that we're present, we make other people look good, right? That we embrace change and failure, that we're positive, like these simple kind of ground rules, and like we're able to do this. Like, think about what's available for you as an organization if you're intentional about culture. Not just like, what does it feel like? Like, truly, what does it mean to be part of this team? What are the rules of engagement for us? How do we treat each other? How do we like approach our work together? How do we do this work together as a team? And the truth about work, I understand. I've had jobs. I understand people. I work with teams all over the place. Like, not every single person that we work with is our best friend, right? The people that you work with are like your family. And I don't mean like we're like a family. I mean like you don't get to choose them. They are just there, right? Unless you do all of the hiring in this organization, you don't get to choose the people that you work with. And the reality about work, I get it, is that we don't get along perfectly, and we're not best friends with every single person that we work with. And like, that is okay. We don't have to hang outside of work and be best friends. But if I work with somebody that I have very different communication styles with, right? Very different working styles, or I don't agree with them, or I don't really like them very much, I can still choose to come from a place of wanting to say yes, of wanting to make that person feel listened to, right? To be present, to make that person look good. And I don't mean when I'm in the same room being polite. I mean when I have the opportunity, when they're not in the same room, to say something bad about them and put them down, that I don't. Because that is the opposite of making that person look good, right? That I choose not to say something about somebody, right? When it actually matters, that like the way we speak about other people in this organization is that we lift them up, right? To embrace change and failure, to extend somebody else some grace for being imperfect, right? To like be positive in terms of how I speak about somebody else. I don't have to pretend that I love someone and they're my best friend, but I can choose not to say things and put them down, right? And to be like, this working relationship and how we communicate and work together can be very intentional, right? It's like, how can we work together? And like, I have ownership of that I can look for ways to say yes, make people feel listened to, right? Make them look good, embrace change, extend them grace, be positive, right? Not in a fake, cheesy way in terms of positivity. I mean, in terms of me taking ownership for my choice of words, my behavior, right? How I impact other people around me at work. We don't all have to be best friends, but I tell you, like that, an intentional culture that says we understand that and this is how we show up and we're committed to that and we take ownership of that, like who would not want to work for an organization like that? Truly, if we are intentional about culture like that, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish together, right? Just to tap into that. And like, that has to resonate with you. I don't care how outgoing you are. I don't care how confident of a person, if you're an ENFP, it doesn't extrovert, I don't care. None of you would have participated in that last game that we did the same way an hour ago than you did just in that room. And the other thing that's true about that in real time is that we give each other permission to show up and thrive, right? And be great together. Because the truth is that if you switch groups and you go to your second group and there's 4 or 5 of you sitting in a group and one person in that group is like, this sucks, I don't want to do this, this guy sucks, I'm not a sport, this is dumb, right? Or 1 or 2 people in that group. There is no way you would have participated in that circle, in that team, the same way that you just did. That would have completely shut you down. Like smash the, right? Turn off the faucet of your creativity, smash the light bulb of everybody else in that group and be like, oh yeah, what sport? Oh, this is dumb hockey, right? It's true, and you know I'm right. That's what it feels like. It takes one person, right, to like do that and shut everybody else down. And the opposite side of that is every single one of us takes ownership to say, being part of this team means this, right? It's like such a powerful thing. Like, who wouldn't want that? Like, work can be so much better for us. And it doesn't, like, it's not fake, right? It's not about being fake and cheesy and like inauthentic and not real. I'm just saying, like, let's be intentional about what it means to be here, right? And our behaviors and how we impact each other. It's like, I just show me someone who's like, that would make my life worse. I don't get it, right? It's like, who wouldn't want this, right? Does that resonate with you guys? Yeah, it's like powerful. Anyways, good. Just kind of a quick sort of recap here. Just sort of like, I know we're like getting towards the end of time, but I just, again, thinking about like these activities that we did, they're so simple, and I also appreciate you guys engaging in doing these things. I know this is not what you thought you were going to be doing this afternoon, and that when I started talking, a lot of you were like, I wish I didn't come. But I hope that you're glad that you stayed, and like, right, just this simple idea. And the very first activity we did, right, this one-word letter back and forth, just that when we communicate with other people, that we're present, right? That we're tuned in, that we focus on making the other person feel listened to, right? That we're present in our communications, not just waiting for our turn to speak, right? That we're actually tuning in and communicating that way and thinking about the impact that we have on somebody else when we interact with them. The second activity, the picnic one, right? It's like say no to something, say yes, being different. Like, again, if you come away from this and you're like, oh, he just said say yes to everything, oh, it's fake, like, you're missing everything I've said. Truly, we're not, right? These activities are like to the extreme. We're like, yes, I love pickles or whatever. It's like, you're not going to go through your world and like fake say yes excitedly to things that you don't love. That's not what it's about, right? It's about us taking a look at how am I responding, right? That even like I don't care, whatever, can feel like such a blow to your creativity and all that stuff, right? For us just taking ownership of how do we respond? How do we say yes? How do we say no? And just being intentional about that. And this last activity, right? This brainstorm around like creating a tropical island, creating a sport. It's not about what we created. It's about how we participated, right? And thinking about it is possible for us to bring out a better version of each other together and like of ourselves, right? If we're simply just intentional to be like, this is what it means to be here. And we all take ownership of that. I'm like, that's the kind of organization I want to work for, that I want to be part of. Like, all of those things impact the things that matter to us: retention, morale, engagement, right? How we feel about each other. But it takes being intentional. This kind of culture, this kind of stuff does not fall from the sky. This is not the MO of jobs and workplaces, right? And organizations. We have to say, this is what it means to be part of this team. And like, it's such a powerful thing. So I just want to thank you guys again for like your time, attention, engagement. I hope that even if you think I'm a loudmouth and you don't like me, that there's things that we talked about that you can like take away for yourself. This work is not about me. I think that there's like a lot of really profound, powerful things here, and it's not just about work. Right? This is as like in your friendships and your like romantic relationships, every relationship that you have, thinking about like, how are you showing up? How are you impacting people? Is that what you want? And like realizing how much power we have to impact people in a really positive way, or the opposite, right? Based on how we show up. So thank you very, very much for your time and for coming. And I hope that you felt like this was worthwhile. And it's always a treat for me, but I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you very, very much. Yeah. There is also, tomorrow morning, the same group of everybody that's here is also invited, but I'm going to be doing another session, another workshop tomorrow morning in the Hubert Auditorium from 8:30 to 10 a.m. in the morning. So if you're interested, I think everybody here is welcome to come to that. We're not going to do the same thing. We're going to talk about building a culture of feedback and some other kind of elements building on what we did today. But it's also going to be very fun. It won't be scary. It won't be weird. And I hope that all of you are planning on coming or can make it, because it's just going to be more like deep diving into some of this stuff, this culture stuff. And I think there's a lot of personal kind of takeaways. So again, that is it. If you have questions about that, come and ask me. But that's it. Hope to see you guys tomorrow morning. And like, thank you again for being here. So thanks. Cool.